What, folks? We are live. Look at that, hitting the mark. Probably not. I probably screwed that up.
Wow, we're on time. Oh well, we're about 5
Yeah.
minutes.
Oh,
5 minutes. That's good for us. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. And
That's on time for Mike. 5 minutes is fine.
Yeah,
I
no kidding.
fashionably late.
It's not always me.
Apparently, you can't drop enough bomb in the first 7 seconds. So I didn't. I'm doing good. And we have Gary. We may actually be monetized this time. We shall see. I'm not gonna
Not going to count on that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count my chickens before the show is over. In any case, I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. With me, staged right, my whatever, is
Once a
none
week
other.
works best.
Yeah, it was
Once a
none
week works.
and then Bad Mike Battalato, one half of North Texas RPG Con.
Yes.
And with us, below us, only because he was the third one to log in, is none other than Gary Oliver, the other half of North Texas RPG.
Actually, it's a third. We're a third. So
Technically
we're
it's a third. But yeah.
Don't leave David out. David Gray.
I apologize to David. See, I don't get a chance to talk with David. So
I know he's more behind the scenes stuff he does, but he's got 3 kids and he's busy, and so we're old. We got nothing to do all day. We can just pop on these shows or whatever. David got shit going on, man.
Shit. So we're gonna do a little North Texas roundup. That sounds very apropos for Texas.
This will be our last North Texas 2023 show and we're going to move on after this is the last one. This is it, and then we're going to move on to 2024 after this. So, we promise everybody.
We may move on to 2024 in this show by giving some stats about next year's signups. But yes.
Right. Yes, and we promise everybody this is it for the last year. So if you're mad at us because we talked about the show, we're like, man, I didn't get to go. Quit rubbing it in, man. This sucks. I wanted to go so bad and I couldn't go. Well, on, and it's 2024. Actually, you're right. But we're going to cover 2024 in the show. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, don't lie. Don't lie to our viewers, Mike. Come on, you lie to you. Once you start lying to them, I'm not going to lie. They'll expect.
We're gonna do 2024. Yeah. 2024. Guess why we have Gary here? Because Gary's the number man. He has all the numbers, and he's going to give us some final numbers for 2023. And since we have opened up not early voting, but our early registration, this is this is a discount, man. We only did this discount for 1 month, and then after that, it's full price, baby.
So what do you want to go over first?
Well, let's talk about 2020. Whoa, let's talk about 2024 real quick, because how many people have we had signed up already for this?
So early registration is open. We've been open for a couple of weeks. We have 111 already registered.
Wow.
We also have about 10 shirts already sold. We have 2 golden tickets already sold. And we have 2 vendors who have already signed up.
Golden tickets mean you buy a ticket for a day and you can just walk up into any event for one event that day. Just say, hey, here I am.
It's within a time slot in the day. So you have Friday morning, midday, or evening, Saturday morning, midday, evening. And so you can play in any game you want in those time slots. So,
right.
But we've already sold several of those, and things are moving right along. We're just now the discount is 25% off. So the normal ticket price for the whole weekend, 4 days, is $100. It'll be $75 until I think it's July 14th.
Mm-hmm.
And then that'll be or is it 14th or it's 14th. So another week and a half. And then
it's your chance. Get your discount. If you want your discounted ticket, this is the time. We don't do any more discounts all during the year. This is it.
Correct. And of registration so far, I mean, we encourage people who, are price conscious to do it now, because of the tickets we sold. Now, we have had half the tickets are discounted tickets so far, but we also had half the tickets at full price. We have a lot of people who want to help support the con, so they've gone ahead and registered early or whatever. But
Wow.
but 100 tickets, 111 tickets in a little over 2 weeks is pretty good.
Yeah, that's not.
And we since our cutoff is 500, we've sold 20% of our tickets already. So
Correct.
this is rolling on pretty good. If you're interested, you might want to think about getting one this month, because here's the kicker. I don't know what I'm doing next June, Mike. I could be in a roller skating tournament, or I could be in a hot dog eating contest. Why would I buy a ticket now? Well, first of all, you get the ticket at a discount now. Second of all, if you don't go next year, you can roll the ticket over to the year after.
Yep, we allow 1 year rollover.
Yeah, you are real. So you're beating the system. You're getting a cheaper than normal ticket, and you're able to roll that cheaper than normal ticket over to the next year. We trade it like a real ticket. So.
And I've had 2 rollovers already so far.
Oh, for last year already to this year? That's great. Yeah.
That's not bad.
Now, we used to do indefinite rollovers. We no longer do that because Doug was fanatical about that.
Nightmare. That's why. God. It's an accounting nightmare. Simple as that. There are no more excuses. I just can't. I'm not keeping track of it. We literally had rollers from like 8 years earlier, and we weren't sure they were alive still. We just had a roll like, who is this person we're holding a ticket for the last 8 years? I don't even know who they are. Look them up on Facebook. You couldn't even find their name on Facebook. So I have no clue who this is. On the original spreadsheet that I got from Doug, there were rollovers from the second convention that still were up. And I'm like, okay.
No. So somebody rolled over a vendor table. Did he have that on there?
Yes, it was.
And I told him, I said, we're not going to roll. So it was a company that no longer exists, Gary. And they had bought a $20 table, $20. And Doug said, well, if they show up, I'm going to give them that table for $20. No, you're not. Yeah, I am. Doug, they don't exist anymore. They were a game store.
It was still on the sheet. So but then last year after we had the cutoff, I said, okay, this is the new list. So.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I love, look, I know I'm a messy guy, but I like this kind of cleanup. This kind of cleanup makes me happy when we go through the. I'm going to hold your name for 18 more years.
The Marriott is supposed to have the link.
We're moving on, baby.
Exactly. So the Marriott is supposed to have the new con link set up, I think, the week of the 17th. I'm waiting for the lady to get back to me, but I think she said it'll be ready the week of the 17th.
Oh, that's pretty early.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's pretty early. Yeah, that's
it's
great.
Real early. Now, that said, 2 things. So me being on today is about, talking about the numbers for 2024, get signed up and get your discount now. Why would I sign up early? Well, again, you get to carry it over. But here's the other reason you need to go ahead and sign up early. We ran out of rooms last year.
Mm-hmm.
I am encouraging people to get your rooms early. It's a reservation. You're not putting any money down. You're just reserving.
Which you can cancel up to probably a week before the convention. So.
48 hours.
48 hours. Shit. Yes. Why would you do that? Yeah, go ahead and do that.
I'm just saying. So I'm encouraging people to get your reservations in and get your tickets purchased because, again, as we talk about, the discounts are, helpful, especially if you need to get a discount. And then the other thing, too, is on the rooms, we did run out. Now, we have got a larger room block as part of our deal this year, but it's not terribly larger, but they will cushion that. So there's a number that we have to try to hit, but then, we blew that number away last year. And I'm just saying, because we are getting more people online pre-registered, you need to go ahead and get your rooms too. So and again, as soon as the link gets to me from them, I will post on Facebook and Discord, hey, it's up. Here's the link.
We'll announce it on the show here.
Definitely. Oh, very well. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Because you don't want to be like me, realizing, oh yeah, gotta get my room. Oh, the block. There were rooms, but not within the block. So yes, I could stay at the hotel. But Gary, when they opened up a few extra rooms, Gary was nice enough to get me a room at the con rate. But then, of course, when I checked in, they were like, "Oh, you have 2 rooms." I went, really?
It worked out because I parlayed that into another room for somebody else. So it was okay.
There, okay. She's like, yeah, you got 2 rooms. I went, well, how are they both priced? Well, one's regular and one's the con rate. I'd rather
there you go.
con rate. Thank you very much. But the hotel is, it's a sweetheart hotel right now. They really did a great job the last couple of years. But I mean, they outdid themselves this past year in being welcoming to a bunch of older gamer geeks, and
Definitely, yes.
they really stepped up their game.
And they do appreciate us, and I gave them feedback on the number one complaint, which was food service time delay, and they have said that they're going to work on. I mean, I just had a brief phone conversation with them, but one of the things that they brought up in the conversation was they want to work on things next year to make food service better. And one of the things that they want to do is staff the kitchen for more of a rush. I don't think that they were as prepared. The other thing that's going to happen this year is I have already started reaching out to food truck vendors. Gina will be back. Everybody loves Gina's truck, the breakfast truck.
Great. I eat there almost every day. Yes,
she's great. But I do have a different taco truck already kind of looking at. Mike's got a food truck that I'm going to check in on that's over by where he is. I want to talk to them.
Yes.
And so anyway, I've got a couple of barbecue trucks I'm talking to. Plus, there's Mike's guy. There is I know it sounds kind of whatever, but there's a lobster truck that just sounds cool to me. If it's not a big draw, I won't pursue it.
So if it's given the name, Gary, there's a lobster truck that does the liquor store across the street from my house. I've been there 2 or 3 times. They're really good, but they're pricey.
Oh, okay.
They're very expensive, but they're very good. And so give me the name and I'll let you know if it's that one. I've been there several times.
There's also a local crawfish, like a Cajun truck here in the Rockwell area. And I figured the Long Con guys might be up for that, so we could check into them too. But anyway, I'm doing some things a little more proactively. Yeah, Joe, we're working. I got 2 barbecue trucks I'm looking at, so plus the third that Mike's.
Well, Los Vaqueros is probably one of my favorite barbecues in the whole state of Texas. Their barbecue is incredible. They have a truck now. The truck doesn't leave. It's in a set spot in Grapevine. However, I believe they also do stuff on site. So we need to check that. But Los Vaqueros is
and that's just like the guy. That's like the guy I was trying to get here in Fate. He again has a truck that cannot move, but upon the other thing too was he didn't want to spend the money and go through the trouble to get an Irving food license.
So most people don't know, and actually Lloyd getting his food truck for Lloyd Metcalf now has a food truck in Maine, and no, he can't work the convention. Stop saying that. He's not driving down here with the Dragon Wagon, but he was talking about how much trouble it is because, and I looked up state of Texas, and we're the same way. You have to get a license for every city you're in, which is why when you say why are the food trucks only in like Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, that's why. Because you want to get it for a big city. You don't want to get it for all these little podunk towns you may or may not work. Right. And so they may not go out. I mean, now the convention is in technical in Irving. Irving probably is not that bad. Irving's a pretty big city. So that's not a I bet a lot of them probably have.
Well, the other thing I found out from the Convention Bureau was Irving has reciprocity with Dallas, for example. So
that's good.
If their permits are valid in Dallas and they're valid in Irving. So, but that is not true all the time, but that's really cool that Irving does do. I mean, that makes it a little easier anyway. I wish they do. Anyway, we're working on that. Just in general, food is I think kind of the pivot point for us on things that need the most improvement. The hotel food is not bad.
No, it's pretty good.
This year it was just slow. And so, and I explained that to them, and they appreciated it. They were like, "Thank you for the feedback. We're going to work to make it better next year." So they may hire 2 extra cooks to work. I don't know, but if we can get that resolved, because and I want to make sure that everybody understands, it's not about the girls. The girls are working as fast as they can, waiting on the kitchen. So I had people say, "Well, we placed an order. The girls didn't come back for 45 minutes." Well, it's because they are literally down there waiting for orders that they placed 45 minutes.
Yeah. No, that's true. And they've had that problem actually for a few years, Gary. This isn't the first time. They were very slow last year. And they're very and I think a lot of it's just because they're used to a certain amount of people that come in normally, and we absolutely overwhelmed them this year. And I think we probably did actually this last year too.
We did.
And they just don't, and they unless they hire somebody extra special for that weekend,
we just swamped them is what happened.
Yeah,
and the other thing too, I did get, which is rare. This is so weird, but I had a couple of random complaints about bar service, that the bar people were, in the words of one person, needlessly rude.
Gosh. Okay.
And so I did bring that up. And again, I think they didn't have enough bartenders. And the one of the guys that was in charge of the hotel, the assistant manager, he was like, he admitted, he goes, "We truly underestimate the drinking capacity of your group."
Oh God!
Oh yes,
every year, I guess.
Even though we tell them every year this is
year.
going to be ridiculous. Oh, bunch of gamers. Gamers don't drink too much, do they? Yes, they freaking do. They drink a lot. We drink
especially the ones that we import from the Northeast.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
The Matt Roberts of the world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He could close a bar down by himself. Holy shit! But
saying.
the thing is, gamers like to talk. Gamers like to share stories.
Mm-hmm.
Gamers like to. It's all that catching up deal, and you do that over drinks.
Well, and where's the easiest place to do that? In the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't notice anything bad about the bar myself, Gary. I didn't ever have a problem there, but I'm not saying it didn't happen. It
was a handful of comments, and one person's comment in particular just stuck out in my head as funny because they said they were needlessly rude, and I was like, okay. But I think generally speaking, everybody liked the bar service and the food service.
Yeah.
Just that the food service was a little slow.
I ate at the restaurant a couple.
Yeah, I didn't eat the restaurant at all.
I did. It was good. It was good food, and we explored the menu.
But it was slow though. I bet it was. Yeah.
It wasn't the fastest, and they were always apologetic. And you know, if you're sitting with others and you're having a great conversation, you might not realize how long it's taken. Right. But if you are somewhere, even if you're gaming for 45 minutes, you know, and you're like consciously waiting for the food, you feel it.
Well, and if you're in a boardroom or in a room playing a game and they just came up, after 30 minutes, you start looking at your watch going, didn't we do this? You know, and so.
Yeah. Was I forgotten? By the way, James is picking on you, Mike. I don't know if you saw his comment.
You know, whatever. I'm ignoring him tonight. I'll just ignore him. Because he's you know, I'll give him a special dispensation because you know he did we'll talk about this. I might send you the link. He sent me a link for something he's doing for Shadow Dark, a magic item, and so I guess he thinks I'm mad at him because he said now there's no stats for B author in this item I did. So I didn't get back to him because I was so shocked there was no B author stats, and so maybe he thinks I'm mad at him or something. So I don't know. I'll have to send you the link to that, Eric, so you can throw that up there. So it's a pay what you want deal. So definitely check it out.
He's got an itch.io deal going.
Right.
I did see him post about it, and he also sent me a link earlier.
Oh, okay. So you have the link too then. Okay.
Yeah, it's got two items up on itch.io. One's for Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I do have some other 2024 news.
Okay, we're interested.
So I spoke to a couple of people who had expressed interest in doing logos.
Ooh.
And James has become our kind of go-to logo guy for the last 2 or 3 years.
James Shields.
And but Janelle Jaquays had done them for 6 years prior.
Right.
And she
actually, Gary, she did year 3 through 10. 3,
correct.
4, 5, 6,
Yeah,
7, 8. So that's 8. Actually, 8 years. 8 years. Yeah.
And so, anyway, I spoke to her and I spoke to James, and they are both going to submit logos for 2024, and we will offer them on separate shirts. You can get
nice.
So.
All right,
that is pretty well. That's cool. That's very cool. Now, year 10, we offered, I think it was 12 or 13 shirts, but ever since then, we've only really offered one. One next year. So that's pretty cool. So next year we'll actually have 2 designs.
I think it's really neat.
I don't think it's a bad idea at all.
No. So I just think it's really cool that we have so many really talented people that want to help. And so anyway, we're gonna do that.
What's the code for the discount, by the way? Somebody can't find it.
NTX 2024.
All right. You see, you're already selling tickets. You're selling badges.
Let's see.
There we go.
Let's see.
Yes, and like I said, there's no reason not to buy it now, because if for some reason your hot dog eating contest does fall on that weekend, you just go ahead and say, "Oh, I'll just go next year," and you don't even have to do anything. You don't have to tell us. We just automatically roll you over when you don't show up, and then you just a couple weeks after the convention's over, hey, by the way, I wanted to go ahead and activate that rollover, and then boom, you're in.
There you go. Travis just bought a ticket. How about love it?
Nice.
The only hot dog eating contest that matters is Coney Island.
I know. That's why it's on my mind, because I can't stop thinking about that. I don't see those things. Hot dog eating contest disturbs me, because hot dogs are a beautiful thing and should be enjoyed, not shoved in your face and slapped down with water. That's just gross. You need to enjoy your hot dog.
That's terrible. I know.
It just drives me crazy. I mean, look, here's what you do. You take a dog, you got one that's got, because you have a tradition, you got one that's got mustard and onions. Next one up there, you're going to throw some sauerkraut, some mustard, some sauerkraut, a little bit of relish. You got the sweet and spicy, or sweet and sour there. The last one, you're going to do a Chicago dog. It's going to have everything on there. I mean, then you have 3 hot dogs and you don't need anything else all night. That's it. You got your 3 hot dogs and boom. And actually, if you want 4, I'm going to give you this one, chili dog. You throw some chili and cheese on it. That's 4.
Yeah, that's got to be the last one, because
that's going to be the last one, because after that you're out. You just retired for the day. You just had 4 hot dogs and you're finished. So you're done.
For 4th of July, I actually had. This may sound good to some. They were fantastic, but I had crawfish bratwurst. So bratwurst with crawfish in it.
Okay, weird.
It was really good.
Very weird. Okay, but you know what? I love crawfish, so I'm not going to say that's a no on that one. So definitely give that a shot. Oh my God, I'm looking at pictures of Chicago. I said Chicago dog, and they popped up on my viewer. And now I'm looking. I got to turn this off. I'm going to get hungry.
By the way, they corrected the code for you.
Oh, sorry, NTX 75. That's right.
Oh, why is it so? Oh, that's good.
I think that's right. It's NTX 75 because it's 25% off. So that's right.
All right, there you go.
Let me make sure I got the right one.
It was corrected in the chat.
Yep, that's it. It is. It's NTX 75.
There you go. Yeah, okay.
It's been used 45 times.
Wow. That's good, though, because he said we sold over 100 tickets. That means over half the people have chosen just to pay us full price. Now, and Gary and I are going to be adamant about this. We have no problem with you taking the discount. As a matter of fact, that's what's there for you to take it.
None at all. I want people to come to the convention.
Yes.
So, I mean, if that $25 is the thing that throws you over, please take the discount. Now, we love our supporters and we love people that want to help and pay full price. Thank you very much. But we're not holding that against anybody.
No, not at all. I've had a few people over the years say, "Oh, well, do you really want us to take discount?" I'm like, if you need the discount, yes, take the discount, and we're not going to judge you. I don't care if you're rich, poor, whatever. Just take if you want it to, like, if that's what gets you in the door, take the discount because that's what it's there
so
for.
we're clear. The discount runs until 11:45 p.m. on July 21st. So 2.5.
Do not be getting on our ass July 25th. Going, man, when's the discount?
I'm not gonna have. I've told everybody when this is. So July 21st, which is Friday, at 11:45, we're done.
There you go.
Finished. So why don't you give us some numbers on last year? So we've had this time to wrap up, and you're Mr. Numbers over here. Okay. So tell us. I want to, because you see me on the show, Gary. I spout nonsense all the time, and you have to correct me.
I have to type as fast as I can.
You have to type.
That's not what it was.
I'm just making up shit, So give us the actual numbers here. We want to hear some actual numbers.
So we had 478 registered attendees on the website. Okay. We then had 23 walk-ups, which put us at 512.
Wow.
Okay. Now, of the 512, I have 43 no pickups.
Uh-oh.
So I had 43 no-shows. Okay.
Roll them over. They're going to roll.
They roll over, and I keep them. I keep them right here next to me. And here's the 2 rollovers already. I mark them.
Ooh, okay.
And so, anyway, so now we're down to 41. But anyway, the point is, so we were at, in the 465 range on actual attendance at the convention.
Wow.
But we, the convention, as far as, products and whatever, I mean, we sold almost 200 shirts. We had every golden ticket purchased. We had all but 3 of the winch shirt slots purchased. We set a record. All but 3 of the rooms that could be sponsored were sponsored. All but 3. That's 9 of the 12.
Wow.
That has never happened.
And a couple other numbers. We had a special printing of B 4.5, which Tom Wilson did with Charlie Phipps and donated to the con. We had a little over 200 copies printed. I thought that was too many because we have never sold out of one at the con itself. So I thought that's plenty. We're going to be okay. As of this time, Gary, we have probably 10 left. So we sold over 100 at the con itself. We sold about 80 at the con. We sold almost 100 after the con.
Yeah.
Actually, we did sell 100 because I have the sheet right here. I'm looking at 101, 102. We sold 102 copies.
So I can tell you how many we sold at the convention.
Okay.
So here's the other thing too. We sold, we sold 11 shirts at the convention. We sold, let's see.
We also had a digest done by the Independent Publishers Union. At a certain point, I'm going to offer the leftovers.
We sold 80 of the B4s, and we sold all 52. There were 52 of those digests for the Independent Pub that we sold them all.
Well, we were down to 8. We're down to 20 digests, Gary, because unless they're hiding somewhere, I've only found 20 in the warehouse. So we're down to 20 digests, unless there's a box with some extras. But so I've got 20 of those. The other one, like I think I sold 102. So 102 copies. It's 182 we sold. So we're down to 18, and I am not advertising we have them, but people have been contacting me over the last week like, hey, do you still have one? Yes, but very limited. You have to pay in the next 10 minutes. I mean, that's it. So we are, yes, we did very well in peripherals, which helps out a ton. That's one of the, that's how we make money. I mean, is selling things like shirts and donated items. I mean, the guys that did the Independent Publishers Union Digest just did an incredible job. I just love that. I love that picture.
That's awesome.
I do too.
And so-
well, and
Hold on, Mike. Hold on.
it's
Hold
really
on.
fun.
I'm going to give you a solo layout for a second, Mike. Put it back up there.
Oh, okay. Look at me drinking my booze here. Okay.
What?
Oh, here we
You're a
go.
booze-free show. No.
We what?
Back it
I
up. a little
quit.
bit.
Okay, there we go.
Back it up some. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's me as the idol. My brother is with his Speedo is laying on the throne on the
On the
altar,
altar.
and all the characters. So there's Skeeter, Levi, shoot, who else is in this picture?
Look at Jim Ward is in there.
Yeah, Wampler's there. No, Wampler's in
Wampler,
here.
yeah.
Jim Wampler, Ian and Rocky. And who's the last guy here? That is
Not Jeff.
maybe that's James himself. I'm not sure. Anyway, so yeah, so it was a great piece of art, and they
and the whole thing was incredibly flattering. It was so cool. I'm actually in there a couple of times. It was hilarious.
They did a great. The independent publisher union did a great job, but they donated that lock, stock, and barrel to us, and so we made some good money with those. We made some good money with the B4.5s, the shirts, as Gary said. The auction did really good for us.
The auction was good.
It always does
It
good.
was our third largest gross and fourth largest net. So not too bad.
Pretty good.
Okay.
We did very good at the auction. That includes
Saturday. It's just the regular Saturday auction. The midnight auction set another record. Yep. By the way, not just by a little, like by a bunch. I want to say it was like $1,100 last year. And last year was a record. So,
Damn.
You said by a bunch?
By a bunch. So last year was a record, and then this year was like $1,100 even better. And there's the damn points.
But
I wonder why.
Thinking.
Maybe it's because of my expertise in playing Lucifer that we made so much money.
There you go.
Yes.
What can I say? No, I don't. What made so much money at the midnight auction this year? I mean, everything did pretty good, but man, we did sell some souls, which is always a Boffo box office hit, selling people's souls.
I think the Jameson, wasn't a certain.
There was a painting that was a lot. It was like 5 or 7. The goofy painting of you that Lloyd did of you're like laying naked on the.
Oh boy,
that was a lot of money by itself.
Mike was blocking that one out.
There's not enough soap in the world to get that vision out of my head. I'm just sorry.
That was horrible. Yeah. So we had some good items there. Oh, this thing's hurting my head. Oh, sorry, baby. You gotta pull.
But I mean, again, I just want to. The thing I do want to say is we really did. We had a really good year, and the biggest part of it, quite frankly, was because we almost sold out. So ticket sales help cover the cost, and the auctions are great. All the peripherals are great, but it's just I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody so much for all your support and all your help. It's wonderful.
Ooh.
Boy, James is on fire tonight.
And you know what? He could write that, and it would be very playable.
It would.
That's the scary part.
So anyway, 2023 was a raving success. I just want to thank everybody for helping, and for 2024, I just want to encourage. And I would tell both of y'all, please, if as you go through your shows over the coming months and you have different guests on and you bring up North Texas, make sure that you let people know for 2024. Get your tickets early, get your room early, because if you don't, you're going to
make a prediction. Yeah, I'll make a prediction. I think we're going to sell out this year. I really do. And which is so selling out doesn't mean you can't show up at the door and not get a ticket in, because you could probably show up at the door and get a ticket, because as Gary said, we had 40 no-shows this year. So people do not show. So there is space available. However, you can't count on it. It's nothing you can count on, because every ticket will have been sold by then.
Well, and what we're going to do,
buy them online.
We have the room, and what we're going to do is we'll do online limit at 500. Okay. Then we'll take walk-ups up to 600, because by the time we have dropouts, that puts us in the 550 range. We would still be okay.
We can handle that. And with all the people we had this year, Gary, it did not. We've talked about that a bunch too. It didn't feel crowded.
No,
it felt like we had space for more people because it's a quite a big area. It's a really big area, so which helps. It helps out quite a bit. And so
Bill Bars.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, he had to show up tonight. Knew we were probably going to talk about him later on. So,
well, Bill's going to be sad to hear that we've already got 2 vendors signed up. And so and what's hilarious is his arch nemesis, New Comet Games, Ben Burns, has already signed up for a booth.
Well, we're going to sell out of vendor tables this year too, because we decided this year to do something different for 2024. We're moving all the vendor tables into one room instead of different places. So because of that, we're going to have limited space. I mean, once we fill up that space is done.
It will be same. It will actually be the same number of tables, just all in one room. And what we're going to do is we're going to put all of the vendors in Trinity 5. Okay. But what it is, it's not just Trinity 5. It's Trinity 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're taking those walls down, so it'll be that entire.
Really? I did not know this.
No, we're taking those. It's only 3 game tables, and I'm going to make them up somewhere else. So I'm taking that whole big space, and that's going to be the vendor hall. Okay. Oak Ballroom will then have. I did the measurements. We'll have 7 tables in it. And we are in the process of purchasing new dividers, mobile dividers that are soundproof, sound deadening, and we're going to put them between the tables in Washington Irving, in all the rooms off the library there, and any room that has more than one table, we're going to put dividers up, except for Dogwood, because the Hyperborea guys want to do that room again, and they don't want it blocked off, so we won't put them up in there. But anyway, I've got some new dividers that we're going to put up to do some sound editing. And so anyway, I'll take Trinity 5. So
no, that's great. That's good, because we did have a few people complain that they think they've got left out by not being in what they call, quote unquote, the main vendor hall. So by sticking everybody in there, we hope to get rid of any complaints about that. And so, everybody will be in the same room.
There unfortunately was an implied class system, and you've got the premier historic vendors that show up, Pacesetter and Black Blade, and that come every year, and so then the Oak, there's only so much room in the Oak Ballroom for the rest, and so there was this kind of a people were like, and though there was just as much traffic in Trinity 5, quite frankly, but we're going to eliminate all of that, and we're just going to move it all over there, and it'll be easier.
There was just as much traffic. Plus, I checked with all the vendors, and every vendor did well. It didn't matter where they were; they all did great because
they all did very well.
Several
of 3 of the vendors that I know of for sure said they had set all-time records at any convention they've been to in the last 10 years.
Wow,
that's impressive,
and that includes Game Hole and Gary Con. They said
that's
better than them. So, but now I will say this: we are going to have 2 game tables in the vendor hall, because I've had some vendors request that there be tables in the vendor hall so that they can run games of theirs and still be close to their table.
Right.
So there will be 2 game tables. So net, I don't lose any game table spots by doing it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Very cool. Yeah, some people I know they like to run games while they can still watch their vendor table if they don't have a lot of help. So yeah, that does work out really good for them.
Dave Donahue had requested, and Ben Burns likes to do that. I know. So.
Okay.
Now, Bill Barsh and Pacesetter sponsor a boardroom, so they can have all their games in one spot, and they.
This is cool. If you do get a room sponsored, what's cool about it is you can sell stuff out of that room. You don't just get to run games out of that room. You can also sell your stuff out of there. So you don't need a vendor table. you just sell out of out of that one space. And a lot of people like that better because when you leave for the night, you just lock the room up, and the room only opens up when you guys are in there running games in there.
Correct.
So some people like to do that.
And we always give Stefan a boardroom because of his setup, so he can lock it up. That's always a big,
Right.
But we're very thankful and grateful for all the people that did room sponsorships this year. It was great.
Oh yeah, that was great. I mean, when they're not super cheap, that's by doing it, you're really committed to the con, which is awesome. And we had the girls all. Did we hit them shirts for every session? The girls
all but 3. The big hit shirt seemed to be the shirt from last year that didn't get printed on time that finally got delivered, which was the shirt that Ben Burns had his, and then he was sponsored by Pace Center Games on the back. That seemed to be a big hit.
That was great. Yeah, that was great. we had a picture of all the girls wearing that, which is awesome.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But no, we had all but 3 of the slots sold, and I think, quite frankly, we could have filled them if I had communicated better. So Doc Ben had agreed to sponsor one of the slots if we came up short, and I just never got back to him.
Right.
I thought we were covered, and then I started adding, no, I'm 1 short or 2 short, and it was enough time to print the shirts. So, anyway.
Well, so anyway, what Gary's trying to say here is it was total success. We did great, looking forward to next year. And I'm working on the special guest list now. We'll have some few new names. We're going to have a lot of the old names too. We're trying to change it up a little bit this year. Every year now, for the last couple of years, to have new people because we kind of got in a rut. We had the same 30 people every year, so we're doing. That's why this year we had Raggy, because Raggy he only does one other U.S. convention, which is Gen Con, and then we had a few other people in there that we don't usually see. And so next year, I've got some surprises for next year too. So it's going to be great.
Excellent. And the other thing as part of that too, do we have any kind of time frame on when we think we might have a listing of these people? January?
Not okay. So a lot of them I'm probably going to talk to at Gamehole Con, so probably not till December.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we're gonna. I like to talk to a lot of people, and a lot of the people that we have as guests go to Gamehole Con. So I'm probably going to do a lot of work at Gamehole Con, rounding up people and making sure I can get them to come. So I like to look them in the eye as I ask them. Like to let them know, so there's no confusion. So they don't go, I don't. Was I asked or not? Okay, no, you were, because I was at Gamehole and we talked and we sat down at a table. So yes,
right. And you're definitely. I'm going to do what I did last year, which is I'm going to send kind of a confirmation to each special guest. Says, hey, you're going to welcome to North Texas. You're a special guest. Thank you so much. We, please have your 2 games submitted, as quickly as possible. So, we can get their games listed in a timely fashion. Sure, yeah. I got a lot better response this year by doing that. And so, and then of course, what's great is there are several of them. Steve Winter, he always submits like 5 or 6. And then there's, Chris Clark, he always submits 3 or 4 or 5. Yeah. And so, Merle Rasmussen, he always does 2 or 3. So it's great because we get a lot of feedback, but that way, by doing that, it reminds them, oh yeah, I said I'd run a game. So.
Because I'm not going to name any names here, but we had one person show up a few years ago that didn't have their games because they weren't sure if they're going to run a game or not. And so we had to pep talk them into running a game. It worked out great. Good,
and everybody loved it. Everybody said it was awesome
because it was a legend. It was a legend, and legends can just pull this out of their butt and do a game.
Borrowed
what they did. Yeah.
Borrowed Doug's old books, his 1 ebooks, and just made it happen. And so
that's what experience gets you guys.
There you go.
You can do that. You just pull it off with the flip of a dial. Boom, you're ready to roll.
Improv.
Yep. What anything else we didn't cover for either last year's or this year's? So Eric and I, we did a post game show, And then ever since then, we've also had a few guests, like Skeeter. So we did even more post game. So we've pretty much covered everything there is to cover about last year's this year's game hole. I mean, God dang it. This year's North Texas. I'm distracted tonight. Gary, I'm distracted looking at Gary's face, I think, because I'm not used to seeing
it's very distracting. Yes, it is.
Yeah. And then I know that, James Spawn's lurking in the comments, and I'm waiting for the next zinger from him. So I have to worry about that. But anyway, no, I mean, anything else we didn't cover? I think we covered about everything.
The vendor hall changes for next year. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to address the food service at the hotel in particular, and a bit more bigger selection for food trucks. We are we're gonna still have the same 4 servers. I've already got that confirmed. So that's because
the new girls were great. They did a great job.
Good job.
Summer and Sierra, and I don't remember the other one's name. Becky? No.
Becky, yes.
Oh, Becky? It was Becky? Okay, yeah. Yep. And so, yeah, they're all good friends. Yeah, they know each other.
Funny story. Yeah. I'm walking down the hall coming back from the hotel lobby back to the convention space, and here comes Becky. And she's tall and thin. And I walked up and said, "Hey, how's it going?" And she says, "Oh, it's going fine. Somebody told me I was an elf." And I said, "I know you don't understand this, but that's actually
a good thing.
Complimentary."
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Not an insult.
That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
So that's a good thing. It's all good, And so anyway, it was funny because she didn't quite know how to take it, but she was like, "I get," I said, "No, trust me, that's a good thing."
It must be good. It's always good. Yeah, being an elf or a dwarf. I mean, a dwarf would have been great too. Yeah, but that probably meant you would have hair on your face. Yeah, exactly. You have hair on your face. Because dwarven women are gorgeous. They have their gorgeous beards. So. Yeah.
But anyway, but with that many people, we do need to have that kind of coverage. So that's already been handled.
Oh gosh, yeah. If we'd only had 2 services this year, it would have been awful. It would have been just terrible.
Yeah,
it worked out great. We had 4 because they were running their butts off. Just those 4.
And again, because of the spacing and timing, it all worked out great. The only other thing. Oh well, I guess we can talk about this. So the North Texas crew, me and Bad Mike, are going to be going to LongCon in November, and I will be sponsoring. I guess I'm the official North Texas to LongCon Uber because I'm going to be picking up Bill Barsh and Greg Gillespie from the airport and in Dallas and taking them to LongCon. So.
I feel for you, brother. That's going to be.
I actually looked into chartering a bus. It's not as expensive as you think it is, and I could have had the little banner on the front that said NTX to LC or something like that. But anyway, well, thank you, James. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you got to come back, man. One of these days. I know you got a little baby, but we still will need to get you back here one of these days.
So, but that's about it. I mean, right now, like I said, we're at 112. Things are rolling pretty good. The discount will go until the 21st, and then beyond that, we're selling shirts. We've sold 60 Squeaky Cage tickets too. Wow.
Oh, let me throw out a couple more things too. We also so this year we inducted 4 more people into North Texas Hall of Fame, which honors people who have gone to the con and helped the con out and done various good deeds for the con. And this year it was Steve Winter who went to he didn't go to the first con, he went to the second one, and he's been to every one since then. Mike and Liz Stewart, who were at our first con, and they've just done so much for the years through podcasts. There was another guy, I can't remember the guy's name. One more guy, some other guy.
Random guy. Hey,
yeah, it was Bill Barsh. Bill Barsh was also the first.
Bill also won the Hold My Beer Award in Friday Night BattleTech. So,
by the way, we have the trophy at the warehouse. I found the trophy the other day, unboxed and stuff. So
it was, we sent it. We put it there on purpose. What we're going to do is Bill didn't want to risk taking it back with him, so we're gonna treat it like the Stanley Cup. We're gonna put names of the winners around the base, and then as there's more winners, we'll just add bases to the bottom of it. So.
Like it. And this year, so the 3 Cast Award for Excellence in Game Design was won by Greg Gillespie for Dwarrow Deep. There was all the entries were quality entries. The judges went on and on about, man, this year any of these could have won in another year. I mean, because we had a couple of lean years during COVID, and I mean, we just didn't get a lot of submissions. This year we had 14 submissions. We could only choose 6. So, 8 of them had to. I mean, even though they were all good, 8 didn't get chosen, and the 6 that were all just high quality. All the judges made a comment that, hey, this is good stuff. So it was a really good year. All the stuff that was submitted was good. But yeah, Dwarrow Deep won. So that's Greg's second win on that. And I feel like Greg's one of those guys. He writes good enough that really almost any of his could win almost any year because all 4 of his mega dungeons are really well done. But Dwarrow Deep is really good. He did a good job with that. So. I think that was all in the award category. I think that was the only couple we had that are worth talking about. Although we have had several suggestions, Gary, that we're going to have to shorten Robert's Gladiator and race down to like 60 seconds. He's going to have to work it in 60 seconds. Nobody wants to hear about every round of the Gladiator fight and somebody's head got smashed with a sledgehammer.
We need to find a way to the entire award presentation piece needs to be 15 to 20 minutes.
I mean, it's fun.
It is fun.
It's funny, but he goes on a little long, and he needs
an elevator pitch. He doesn't need to give a
bingo.
This is not his acceptance speech to the Academy Award.
No, it doesn't have to be 5 pages long.
We can do like they do though, and have music and like play him out with if you
pull him off the stage.
Can we get a big shepherd's crook?
Hey, there you go.
Show.
I like it.
I'm afraid that. Well, Robert says it's non-negotiable. He gets to do that speech, but I just said, look, can we tighten it up a little, like to 60 seconds? That would be
just even 1 minute or 2 minutes to 2 minutes, just something quick. But
just tighten it up, brother. I mean,
I also want to say this on the Hall of Honor inductees, and also and everything that goes with it. I really want to say David did a phenomenal job with the shield, and
it's really cool.
It just looks cool.
It's got these little wooden things with a magnet and they go across.
Yeah,
and so each year they're going to go down. Now what we're going to do is we're eventually going to have a bigger thing that they're going to graduate to, which I guess we'll keep that at the warehouse, whatever. But every year we'll display the latest 8 names or so in the hall, and actually we could probably bring whatever else the bigger one. We'll bring that because eventually we're planning on adding 4 names every year for the foreseeable future. So I think we have enough names for quite a while. So it's going to have to be pretty big for a while, but we could display up to 5. And I think the one spot's always going to be Doug's name. We'll have Doug's name is always one spot, and then we'll have to have the last 4 names. People will be there. So it's a really cool thing. And I also want to tell you talk to you about something, Gary. And I haven't talked about this before, so I'm going to kind of spring this on you. And my wife actually brought this up. I think we need to have little plaques that the people can take home. Like the little plaque that says, North Texas,
100%.
Steve Winter.
I'll get with David. That's a great idea. That's a fantastic.
I mean, we could do that in a trophy shop, or we could print them ourselves or something. But I just think that would be really nice because that way they would have something to display. Hopefully, they would display at home, be proud of.
And David has all the equipment. We could do that. We can.
That's right. Well, we can do that. So I think that's something that we should do because I think that would be something they could keep. They could have a little keepsake themselves instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, I'm in the Hall of Honor in North Texas," but you can't ever see it because you have to go to the convention and actually look at it.
That's great. And speaking of Christy, and this year represented another first. My wife attended the convention, and she really had a good time. She really helped out. We really enjoyed her help. A lot. On Wednesday, when I handed out bags and badges, which I could just hear Doug screaming from the beyond. It's not time yet. But with her helping me, I gave out 153 badges on Wednesday night.
then that tells you how big Wednesday night has become now.
Wednesday night is huge. The pre-con get on is part of the con now because it is freaking huge and it's awesome.
We set a record. We had 78 rooms, 78 room things for Wednesday. We had 22 for Tuesday night.
Wow.
Yeah, we have people showing up very early. It reminds me a lot of what's going on with Gary Con now because I mean, Gary Con, people are showing up now Sunday night, the night before the con, and they start gaming Sunday night. They game through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They're ready for when the con starts. So I think we're starting to get a little bit of that vibe here. That we're
I was amazed by
really early.
I was amazed by the 21 rooms we had on Tuesday, and I also want to thank people. Everybody always says, "Hey." And I wanted to bring this up because people always say, how can we help the convention? We want to help. We want to help. Number one, buy a ticket. Number two, submit games. But number three, I really want to shout out to the people like Zach and Jen and Skeeter and some of these others who came in on Tuesday so that they could be at the warehouse on Wednesday to help us load. We loaded the U-Haul in 11 minutes.
It was crazy. And Gary and I did not touch a box.
I didn't touch a box the whole time, which is anybody that know, that's a whole new first for me. I like to be there to make sure stuff goes. I didn't even look. I just said that needs to go. But we were loaded and pulling away in 11 or 12 minutes. And we get to the hotel and we were unloaded in 10.
People were calling and going, "Hey, when can I show up and help?" I said, "Dude, it's on its way to the hotel. I mean, you missed it. You had to be here early.
Go to the hotel.
I want to help you out. It's already gone. It's already all. You can help unload it, but no, it's already loaded. Everything."
So I just want to thank all the people who submit the games, buy the tickets, help us do these things. We appreciate it, and it is overwhelming. It's just overwhelming how
it's
wonderful.
just. I mean, it's one of those cons. It's really about it's like family, man. It's like all your buddies are coming over to play a game. That's really what the con's like, and that's kind of still the character of the con. It's different from all the other cons you're like. I mean, I love Gamehole Con, I love Gary Con, but it's different in that it's more of a family affair. Now, Gary Con's more of the Gygax family reunion. You get to show up and hang out with them. This is more like these are all your buddies you game with in high school, and you get to show up and you're going to game and you're going to drink and you're going to have a good time with them. Yeah, and that's basically what it boils down to.
And it was funny because Lisa made the comment. She goes, "Oh my God, you spend half the first day hugging people." I'm like, "Yes, because you're genuinely glad to see them." You know, I mean, when Eric shows up, I'm glad to see him. You know, there's people that you only see once a year. Unfortunately, I mean, that was kind of the vision behind Long Con was that we could get together twice a year. But these are people you see once a year. Relationships and friendships that I have built because of this event that I would have never had access to any other way. And absolutely, I am genuinely glad to see those people. I really.
And you see people. I mean, it's amazing the amount of people that showed up for like 10 years, 15 years. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at Ryan Sim. They were like, "When did you start coming?" I go, "I think it was year 2 or 3. He's been every year." I mean, he did miss 1 year, but you know, Jeff Emery's been every year except for COVID. I mean, Karen Johnson started going about year 3. She comes all the way from England. You know, and she's gone. I mean, it's crazy. You start seeing these like these guys show up every year. I mean, I had forgotten the Long Con guys, Eddie and Matt, they started year 3. I was thinking they started like year 5, 6, something like that. No, their first con was year 3. I was like, good Lord, you guys been coming that long. Yeah. I might have to put you in the Hall of Honor someday. I forgot that you've actually been here that long. Like I figured you're Johnny come latelys, but no. And that's just what's so amazing. It's the same people year after year after year that come every year, and you know them all. But I'll tell you another cool thing, Gary, this year was there was so many first-time attendees.
Oh, God.
That was very cool.
Amazing. And here's what was really great. We had so many first-time attendees whose general reaction was, "Oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever." Right. I mean, that was a genuine thing. People were, I mean, we heard that, and then we heard, "I can't believe I haven't been here before," because I wanted to come for years, and I just didn't realize how kick-ass this was, and so. Yep, and all the I meant tos for all these years, I meant to, and then they did. Now they're, you know, and I don't think I heard, and even shoot, you're gonna tell me what's the I don't want to say little girl, the lady that wrote the real big Kickstarter thing.
Oh, Kelsey Dion. Yeah.
I'm coming next year. I mean, she
Kelsey's awesome.
was like, "This is so cool. I'm coming next year. I'm gonna." I go, "Good, get your games in."
She was legitimately so excited to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, she was having the best time the whole time. And it was great because Eric couldn't find her the whole con, and they finally saw each other. Was it Sunday?
Sunday.
And oh my gosh, that was
Sunday
hilarious. Morning. Yeah, they finally saw each other Sunday morning, but yeah, she had a great time. She was running some great games, and and that was her first time there, and that's what happens. Most people go there their first time, and they're just like, I just can't believe I haven't been here before. It's so great.
James is calling it. It's like a reunion. I've always said that going to North Texas is like going to my second home. I am seeing friends that are practically relatives. You know, I actually see people at North Texas more than I see my own cousins, and I'm probably happy about that.
Well, yeah, about to say I'd be happier. My
but I mean, North Texas. I get to North Texas, and I feel like I do when I'm sitting in my own living room. Kind of, you just get that feeling of eternal peace and happiness, and everybody is just so damn pleasant, and it's not forced. It's just the atmosphere is a natural atmosphere. You don't
the people are fun. I mean,
yes.
And we get a cross section. We have doctors and lawyers and law enforcement, and I mean, and we just have this crazy cross section of humanity. And Kelly always says he's a sheriff. He is an elected official, and he says that North Texas is the only 4 days of his entire year that he gets to be himself.
Because he's this giant dude, badass sheriff that wears. I mean, he's got to be a tough guy because he's in West Texas with all the crime there and this and that. He can't let his hair down and say, "Oh, by the way, I like to play elf games."
Yeah,
he's got to be this badass all the time, and so he gets to come to our con, take off the bulletproof vest, and take and just be a gamer.
Bob G is right. We did have an NFL player.
Yeah, Matt Farniak was there again. Dallas Cowboy, who might be playing a lot. I mean, he was hurt last year, but I think he's supposed to be starting this year.
He's starting. Awesome. Well, did you hear about my? So I gave him a shirt, and did you hear what my interchange with him was?
No.
I said, "Hey, why don't you wear that during an interview?" He goes, "They don't interview linemen very often."
Offensive linemen don't get interviews, Gary.
And I was like,
unless they grab a fumble and run it back.
I was like, damn it. Okay.
Yeah, that's not.
He said though, he goes, the one from last year I use as my workout shirt. I wear it every time I do workouts.
Oh, my first North.
How do we find a size to fit him? The guy is huge.
I have an extra 3X.
Really? Okay. Well, he's 3X with muscle. I'm
yes. No.
It falls differently.
Yes. He's 3X across here. Okay. I mean, he is. It was tight on his arms, but I mean, he could wear it.
Greg, I tried to find you when Farniak was there and I didn't get his autograph or anything either. I know, Greg. I tried to find you and I couldn't find you that day.
Greg, if I'd have known, I would have come and got you, man.
Yeah.
But
you might have been running when I saw him. You may have been running a game. I think it was Saturday. Was it Saturday? He was there Saturday, right?
It was Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah. But I was so busy too. I wanted a chance to talk to him, and I didn't get a chance at all.
Well, one of the new girls found him. Sierra, I think she's a huge Cowboys fan, and she found him, and she came running up to the thing. She goes, "Did you know that?" I was like, "Yes, I know. I saw her."
But you've been attracting like football players for years. I remember my first North Texas. I didn't really know anybody, but I had the blog. People so many, and I was approached by his big guy with two other big guys with him, and he's like, "Oh, Tenkar." I'm like, "Yeah, I read your blog." He goes, "Yeah, he was a retired Dallas player, played like 2 seasons, became a federal law enforcement officer." He goes, "Yeah, last year was my first time at this con." He goes, "It is amazing. I brought 2 other former sports players, I don't know what leagues, that became federal law enforcement that he worked with to the con because they all had gaming in common." So I mean, it is strange who can come out of the woodwork at North Texas.
Well,
Like,
Wow.
one of the things that got brought up, and it has not come to fruition yet, but we're still working on it, is Farniak's friends with a couple of the guys from West Texas. So one of the things that we found out in talking to him is there are several, I think 4 or 5, team members on the Cowboys that play D&D. And one of the things that they have to do is they have so many charitable hours per year that they have to sign up for. So, they've got to go to the children's hospital, or they got to do this or do that, whatever. Any charity that they want to sign up for, they've got to fulfill so many hours, much like CPAs have to have ongoing learning credits, and so on. Anyway, this would qualify. So if they were to come and do a charity game where we auction off a couple of seats or 3 or 4 seats to be in a game with them, all we have to do is fill out a form with the Dallas Cowboys and prove to them, and then tell them what charity we're supporting with their thing. They can do that, and they will provide us with logos and marketing, and they'll put our name in the crawl of the stadium and stuff. So I mean, there's all kinds of things that go.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
So
you hit the big times.
I'm trying to work that out. So.
Well, so for those of you who want a little piece of this but don't really want to wait till next year, we're all going to LongCon. Greg Gillespie's going to LongCon. Bill Barsh is going to LongCon. I'm going. Gary's going. Meet us in LongCon. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be about half the people, but it's going to be about pretty much the same atmosphere there. We're all going to be gaming and hanging out. So LongCon's going to be in Longview, Texas in November, and check that out. And it'll be fun too. It's going to be. I'm looking forward to that because I don't have to. I do have a vendor table there, but I'm just planning on kind of throwing some stuff on the table and putting a jar there saying honor system because I want to hang out and chill with people. So.
Well, Greg, just remember, you and Bill, I'll be your official Uber driver for that. So we'll coordinate on travel soon. But.
Yeah, we need to start.
And yes, Joe Carl will be there.
Carl Bones will be there.
And my wife is going to be there. She has offered to help run tables for anybody that needs help. So,
I believe I talked to Shell and Sean Pointer, and they're both going to be there also. Yep. My brother will be there. John Lyle said he was going to be there again. I don't know, just a bunch of the people. I mean, Joe's going to be there. A bunch of the people that go to the.
Guess who else is going to be there?
Uh-oh.
Kelly Rowe is going to be there.
Really? He's coming from West Texas, man. That's a haul for him all the way over.
No, he's going to come and meet us. Greg, I'll get with you on that. He's going to coordinate his travel so that he can basically road trip with all of us when we leave on Thursday.
Oh, nice. I bet you we get Ty Beard out there too, since he's right in the neighborhood. He's there in Longview, so we can.
I was going to.
So we'll have it.
Talk him into it. So
yeah, he will be easy to talk into. So yes, it's going to be fun. I'm actually trying to get Zach and or Jan to fly in too. So we'll see. Maybe we can.
Oh, very cool.
They came a couple years ago. I know Zach is super busy right now, but November might not be too bad. So I'm going to see if I can talk him into flying in that weekend. So. It will be not quite old home week, and then we're going to have to work on Eric one of these days to fly into DFW and to drive.
If I'm not doing like this year, we're doing Game Hall. I probably can't put both in my schedule. They're a little.
Gotcha.
It's a little.
You are going to be at Game Hall this year. I couldn't remember if you said yes or no.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be there too. So
anyway, we're gonna be doing all that, so that'll be cool. So.
All right, so we cover the North Texas. We don't want to bore you all night with North Texas stats.
No, go to the next topic. I was just getting all that in there.
So what do we have? What do we have this week? Do we have any gaming stupid this week?
Do we have any?
It seems like we had so much gaming stupid for a while that it just kind of used itself up for a while. It burned itself out. There was so much gaming.
Yeah, I don't know everywhere. How much stupid we have. And by the way, just so I make the announcement that has to be made. That's an affiliate link on the bottom of the screen. If you go there, it takes you to Drive Through RPG. It supports this channel. There, I've made my full disclosure. Well, we had Mayfair Games is back, kind of.
So Mayfair Games was a third party game company in the 80s that did a lot of official AD&D releases. Now, they were known for that. They had some really good covers by some fairly famous artists, but the material was substandard. It wasn't great.
Inconsistent.
It was much like Judges Guild, except Judges Guild had the highs and then the middles and then the lows. Mayfair kind of had the middles and then the lows. They didn't really have the highs. There's nothing really like just classic from Mayfair. They're like, oh my God, you got to play that. That's awesome. But nothing was terrible. It was just kind of in that middle. They had less on the bottom section. They had less in the bottom section. Judges Guild had more on the bottom.
Better paper quality.
Yeah, much better. And like I said, they who's the famous Rowena. They had a lot of Rowena art on the on the covers. So there was some really, really nice cover on some of those Mayfair modules, but they just were never known for very much.
DC Heroes, you're right, Joe. DC Heroes,
yes,
Underground, which was the
Settlers of Catan started out at Mayfair. That's where if you have an original Settlers of Catan set from Mayfair Games, probably worth a pretty penny. So they did have they also put out a really, really horrible City State of the Invincible Overlord box set.
That box set. Yep.
Awful.
And there's adventures for it too that are just as bad, just as horrible,
just terrible.
And Mike, what was the name of their RPG line to support AD&D unofficially?
Was this Rolaids?
Yes.
So it was called Rolaids, which was an unfortunate name, although it was ROLEAIDS, not Rolaids like the Heart League, but that's a rough one to have the same name.
And it was when AIDS became an epidemic, and
oh boy, yes,
there was that little bit of
timing is everything.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing from, and I'm pretty sure it's Mayfair, the Demons and Devils books, wasn't that?
Those weren't too bad. Those had some really nice artwork too, but I can't remember the name of the artist who was they spent some good money on art. I believe they had a Frazetta cover here and there. Well, a reused Frazetta cover, not original Frazetta, but they had some. Like I said, the Rowena art was really good. The Devils and Demons, that was a pretty big artist. He did a lot of covers for Hellblazer, the DC comic. I'm gonna look his name up real quick. He did some really nice covers for the Devils and Demon line, and he did the Angels box set too.
I remember the Devils and Demon line was like sold off at like dirt cheap. Physical copies were like, I don't know.
Tim Bradstreet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was Tim Bradstreet. He did Tim Bradstreet's very, very well known D&D artist also, but he did some really, really. I believe that he's the one that did those really kick ass Hellblazer covers with John Constantine, the DC comic. I gotta try to find some of this. I mean, he just did some great art, but yeah. So they didn't skimp on art. Their artwork was really good. What they might have skimped on was the writers, because you never heard of any of these guys. Like, it's no famous names or about. And like I said, they didn't have a Caverns of Thracia or a Thieves of Fortress Madagascar or Citadel of Fire that you're like, oh yeah, that's some good stuff. Nothing of theirs. The Lich Lords is probably one of the better things they put out. Lich Lords was pretty cool concept or module. Other than that, everything was pretty bland. But anyway, the
yes.
Anyway, the cover was Mayfair was bought, but the problem with Mayfair being bought is, Eric, what is the problem with Mayfair being bought?
Well, Mayfair isn't real. Well, it's the trademark that was bought, not the company. The company in 2018 essentially liquidated. It sold all of its assets, all of its IP to Asmodee. So basically what happened is the trademark expired and the Shield trademark expired. Was that gigantic M on it? And the same company that bought out Flying Buffalo Incorporated when Rick Loomis passed, and then recently flipped it over to another party, Rebellion, who actually has plans for TNT. Was it, oh god, now why can't I remember who the hell the company is? It just WebSphere. Sorry, WebSphere. Who owns a lot of stuff, right? Don't they own like Toad and Troll or something?
Yeah. Well, did they buy Troll and Toad eventually? Because Troll and Toad, yeah, maybe they bought Troll and Toad because that Troll and Toad doesn't really exist anymore as
Yeah,
their own company. I believe they bought the rights to that.
yeah.
Which by at this point they're just an online sales mechanism
So,
thing. So
WebSphere apparently, their business model is to buy out uh, companies that are rolling over, deceased, whatever. So in this case, there's no company to buy out, but the trademark expired, so it was there to be picked up. So, and I'm smiling, and I've already gotten flack from at least one person for making this comparison. But you know what? It's a valid comparison, even if the players are different. It is similar tactic to TSR, new TSR.
and that's basically what I said when we talked about it because new TSR bought a trademark with nothing behind it. Now they pretended they were continuing the long line of
Ooh,
TSR, which there was nothing there.
oh,
There was
Okay,
nothing.
what's the strategy with that?
I don't know, because
Where's the win in that?
We're still trying to figure that out, Gary. And really,
Yeah.
there's no win. Matter of fact, there's lose. There's huge lose, and it's going to be a huge loss in the next couple of years because the guys already declared bankruptcy, and so it's not going good. And so I don't understand why this company's different from Mayfair because at the same concept, Mayfair doesn't. It's just a name, Mayfair. Now I'll give you an example of somebody did it right. Bill Barsh, when he started his company, he took the name Pay Center Games, which was not owned by him at the time, which Pay Center Games in the 80s, they put out Chill, they put out a few other game systems because that was a huge influence on Bill when he was younger. And so he took the name and made his company Pay Center Games. Now, later on, the real Pay Center Games came out and they published some that they still had the rights to Chill and some other things that they did. But that's how it's done right because Bill didn't pretend like, by the way, I'm the same Pay Center Games that put out Chill years ago. And I'm going to put out, no, Bill didn't say that. And it was obvious he wasn't the same Pay Center Games.
Right.
So that's what I don't get when these,
TSR 2, right? They never claimed that they were the original TSR. They were pretty, and they actually had a decent relationship with Wizards of the Coast.
Right, TSR 2, yeah, the one Jason Elliott owned, yes, or Jason Elliott.
So now what I have found, and I heard that ICV2 apparently allows companies to make their own press releases. So this press release is apparently actually by WebSphere. So it's not like you can say, well, ICV2 put words in somebody's mouth. And I'm going to scroll down in this press release. Larry Rosny, who was president of Mayfair Games when it sold its assets to Asmodee, blessed the new incarnation. I'm happy to see.
What are their assets, though?
All the assets went to Asmodee. Role play, I guess all the classic role aids, Catan, whatever.
Right. I'm just saying. Okay, yeah.
I'm happy to see Mayfair Games is coming back. I'm looking forward to seeing what games are coming back into print.
Well, not very much because there's nothing. The well's dry.
You don't.
Is there something we're not seeing here that they have still?
No, unless Asmodee is going to license things back to him, which could happen, but that's not apparently what literally happened, and they explain it. Yes, the trademark was available. We formed a company, and as of January 31st, 2023, we have the trademarks, and the new Mayfair Games LLC began operations on December 2nd, 2022. So you could say that WebSphere isn't saying this. The president of former Mayfair is selling this as the company is back, and I can't wait to see what's back in print. But if WebSphere put up this as their press release, they're responsible for everything in it. This to me is misleading on some levels.
Well, how do they plan to monetize this?
That's what because look, it's different. Let's say somebody out there bought Judges Guild. well respected.
Uh-oh.
Well, he just
Frozen.
died.
A frozen Michael. Dun, dun, dun.
I just as you're reading all this, I'm looking at I mean I don't I don't know the business as well as y'all do, but I'm looking at that going, how are they going to monetize that? I mean, it's like I bought the trade name to the Titanic, and we're gonna, I don't know. I just you can't. The ship's at the bottom of the ocean. You can't bring it back up. I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
Well, and exactly because, and it's not like Mayfair has the, I don't know, the following in many circles that TSR did. I understand why you would. That means Michael will be rebooting and coming back.
That's what that means.
That's what that means.
So, but the way I'm reading it is, so they buy all this stuff, they sold off all the stuff, all the game pieces to the other company, and then we're going to work off this. That just doesn't. And then that guy says we're going to see what reprint. There's nothing to reprint. You gave it to the other people.
Right. Exactly. Well, but yeah. So again, if this was an article that was written by ICV2, you would go, well, it's not really WebSphere making this statement. It really is ICV2 piecing things together. No. The actual WebSphere, who owns the LLC that they just formed less than a year ago with trademarks that they just snagged, knows exactly what they're putting on that page. And again, there is nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
but
I just
like I said. Well, I'm sorry, I got knocked. It seems like about an hour and a half in the show last few weeks, Eric, I get kicked off the internet and it pops back on. So, no, that like I was saying, my Judges Guild example, Judges Guild at least had a name associated with it, like, oh, Judges Guild, we know who that is, or we know what they publish. Right. Even if you didn't have any Judges Guild properties, there's an image in your mind forming of Judges Guild. About what they did. And there's a lot of games companies like that. They may not exist anymore, but you have like, okay, I know what that means. Pace Setter is probably one of them. And there's a lot of, those Avalon Hill would be one. I mean, game companies like that. I don't know that Mayfair has any cachet to the name. Like I said, that they didn't put anything out that was that great. They're just like, oh, yeah. Mayfair, well, they put out blankety blank.
We're thinking it from the role-playing aspect. And then they stepped out of the role-playing games a decade ago. They were into board games, I guess Euro games. Catan, right, is the name that most of us are familiar with. But they sold that away in 2018, so 5 years ago. So this new Mayfair is not the return of the old Mayfair. You can put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. You can call this whatever you want. It's not the old Mayfair game.
And how about the Emperor's Choice? I mean, they're putting out old. Now they're actually putting out the old Arduin stuff. So they've got that. They're actually kicking ass because they have the name Emperor's Choice, but they are actually putting out Arduin product from the 70s, which is awesome. So there's a little cachet there because Arduin had a really cool. That's a cool name of. Everybody knows that used to game in the 70s. I just, like I said, I don't. Look, I have a huge collection of Roll-Aid stuff, Mayfair stuff. I just don't know anything in that collection rises to the level of, there we go. That's gaming in the 80s, man. And Mayfair module,
it's just
rule of the sword or whatever. Yeah, there's nothing there.
Business move here. I'm just like,
it's just odd because I don't understand what the cachet is, but I don't know. Maybe we're not seeing something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the article hints that we're not seeing something. Again, maybe Asmodee is going to license things back at a very cheap price.
Well, but maybe even if they license them, let's say they, hey, we have license for all the adventures. None of them were that great. They didn't rise to the level of being like, oh wow, I've been waiting for this for 20 years. No, there's nothing like that.
Yeah, was it the Dark Folk, which was the humanoid adventures? It was really, really bad. I tried using some of those, and they were horrible even back in the 80s.
I'll tell you the best Mayfair stuff. So there's one that's called Lich Lord. It's pretty good. It's about an island that has 5 or 6 liches on it, and it does a good job of making them all separate things. But some of their earliest stuff, and I'm talking like early or late 70s, early 80s, was very old school in nature and really good examples of old school dungeons. I'm trying to remember some names. They're the ones that just had the names like dragons, giants, lizard man. They had some pretty good old school dungeons. Now, once again, nothing that rises to the level of classic. Oh my God, you got to buy this. But they were
inconsistent though with them.
Yeah,
again,
very inconsistent.
The Dark Folk one was inconsistent. There were some adventures that were very usable, and some that you just went, "This is broken into pieces. I don't even want to touch it." But yeah, I mean, to me, that would again, Wizards of the Coast has wisely avoided stepping into this week in gaming super. Well, I mean, maybe, or have they? I mean, was it? How long ago did they announce their bundling? Did we talk about that last week?
No, I don't think we did.
All right, so here's a kicker for you folks, just to put things in perspective. Wizards of the Coast announced, I don't know, a month ago, that they're raising the prices of all their books from $49.95 to $59.95, a 20% increase.
Have some money.
And then they just recently announced that, this initiative that we have where you can order from us. Yeah, we think it's so great that you're only going to be able to order bundles. You can only order print plus digital, D&D Beyond digital, not a PDF, not a digital product that you can take with you. And you can only buy the bundles, and they're $10 more than the book itself would be. But trust us on this one.
Do they have a retailer's incentive on that?
No. The bundle is only with them. Retailers will be selling it at what, $59.95. They're selling it $69.95 direct from them. Now they've been pushing direct, and when they were pushing direct with the bundle, my assumption was that this is their way to get people into the D&D Beyond market, because you get the digital stuff 2 weeks prior to physical release date.
This is a printed thing, though.
It's printed, but you must get the digital bundle with it. You have no choice. If you're getting it from Wizards directly, you have to pay $10 more than retail, because you must get the bundle, which is discounted. Okay. Because I believe the digital would be $20 or $25.
All right.
But what this is doing, which is a nice little stealth move, it is incentivizing people to create D&D Beyond accounts or reactivate the accounts that they deactivated during the OGL fiasco. You'll remember that, when people were like, F you. This is a way to get people signed up for D&D Beyond, because otherwise you're leaving content on the table.
Boy. This is going to push a lot of 5e people to the other side. I'm telling you, it's already started. I mean, because the ones that don't feel like they have to want to play D&D Beyond or online, that they don't want to. I mean, it's going to. Yeah. And we talked about this. It's a fracturing of the market, and they're going to see this market fracture next year.
So next year we get the VTT. And I can damn well guarantee you that next year you will only be able to pre-order the full bundle, which will include the digital content plus the VTT content, and what is now $69.95 will be, I don't know, $78.95 or something like that.
Yeah. Because so much for the OSR dying. As long as the OSR has cheaper prices, it ain't dying, man.
No way. But it's, and I was surprised that they're starting it now, but I believe they're starting it now to prime the pump for next year, so they have all these extra people that are already in the digital market ready for the VTT when the VTT launches.
Right.
So you need to have that base early, and that is what they're pushing with this right now. Joseph, I believe that this applies to all their content, not just pre-orders, but I could be wrong. I'd have to look. But honestly, if you were buying older content, you're probably going to buy it from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
But even the Amazon discounts aren't as deep as they used to be.
Yeah.
So, and then has there been any other stupid? No, there's been good news. The Orc license, final Orc license is out.
Have you seen it? Because I have not read it or seen it. So.
I read the Orc Axe, which is their fax.
Mm-hmm.
And the Orc Axe actually looks pretty good.
This put together by Paizo, right? Paizo put.
This was put together with Paizo at the front, but other people were involved in the process on the advisory board, including Alex Macris.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the one thing I got into enough trouble hypothesizing about that I got a direct PM from Eric Mona.
Uh-oh.
Which started out with, I've been following your stuff for years. Like, oh, Jesus.
That's always a lead up to like,
but please stop talking about this morality clause being a possibility because, and he told me it was a non-starter, but those of us that have connections to the industry know that there were some significant
They've got a lot of pushback. A lot of people saying, hey, you need a morality clause, and which we absolutely believe they don't, but they have got a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, you've got to have that morality clause there.
Well, there's no morality clause.
Good.
And once you put your product into the Orc, you can't pull it out. It can't be revoked. It is submitted to submitted to Library of Congress for copyright.
Mm-hmm.
So there is an official copy. It can never be updated. It can never be revised, and no company has control over it. It's in the hands of Azora Law.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the ones that wrote the initial OGL. They were involved in that process. So the one thing that I'm still trying to wrap my head around is that there's no SRD needed for the Orc license to take effect. Essentially, if it's rules, it is open. If it is intellectual property, like something that's named, it is by default closed.
Mm-hmm.
You can open up stuff that would be normally closed by saying, Bad Mike's Acts of Horrors is considered open content or whatever. You can pull that one out. Mm-hmm. But if things have proper names, they are considered closed. However, if an item has a description, the part of the description that is pretty much game effects is open. If part of the description is history or lore, that part is closed. So it will take a little getting used to because we were so used to the SRD.
Yeah. So it's like a little complicated there to figure it out.
So,
well, that's interesting. It's not a rule set, so it's not a rule system. It's just a list of rules you can publish with other people. You play in their sandbox, basically.
I guess so. I mean, listen, if I'm doing Continual Light and I release it under Orc, anybody can write for it and use the Orc license, and any mechanical content that they create will fall under the Orc license. But if they have Gary's sort of awesomeness, and it describes how Gary was the first owner, and all that lore is closed content unless you want to open it. So it requires a little common sense, I guess you could say. But it does encourage the same open game license mentality that the OGL currently does, and I believe Wizards of the Coast was trying to do away with. The Creative Commons is not a better license than the open game license because it doesn't encourage that viral effect of spreading the rules and spreading new content.
Right.
Creative Commons allows derivative work, but then doesn't automatically open up that work. I am not a lawyer. Don't give his legal advice.
Yeah, Gary, don't write this down because he doesn't know what he's talking about. I can barely understand it, and I know games pretty well, but yeah, it's good that they did this. I don't know that's going to impact my life very much because I don't really play the kind of games that they're interested in. I mean, I there's some things coming. I don't know if Tales of the Valiant is going to impact my life very much. I mean, I'm glad that Wolfgang did it because it's a good alternative, but I think it underperformed. It did less than Shadow Dark, which I think's either instead of saying that Tales did a bad job, I just say that Kelsey just did an amazing job because to make $300,000 more than a Wolfgang project, I think is pretty amazing. I just think that's really good. So it didn't really. I don't know if it underperformed as much as it just didn't overperform. I don't know what to say about that. But it's good. It's out there. It's good to have alternatives, right? It's good to have because next year I'm absolutely certain. So a lot of people that WotC's going to turn the spigot off and say. Yeah, you know what? We have our new version here, and you've had a year to get used to this, and you have the SRD. You really don't need the OGL anymore.
Well, actually, Mike, I was thinking about that earlier today, and I probably have to do a full video on this, but I don't think that's the case. I think what they're going to do is essentially say, "Hey, listen, you can keep your OGL, and you can keep your 5e SRD. We've already released it under Creative Commons. We're not going to take the OGL away from that. However, all of our newer content is not released under an OGL. Your new player's handbook is not because remember they don't have to release it, right? Because their content, their license, they're gonna be like, listen, our player's handbook, is just new classes. We only gave you the core classes anyway under the OGL, right. The SRD. So none of the new stuff, none of the updated stuff is going to fall under the open game license.
They just won't support it anymore. It's very common in the software.
Yeah. They're just gonna let it. Whether you keep it, yeah, that's fine. You do what you want. You were so worried that we were gonna kill the SRD. No. That's what we put in Creative Commons. Whatever. We don't care because if you want to use the new content, there is no open game license. And if you're a third party and you want to create, you know what? Reach out to us. Have your lawyer talk to our lawyer. We'll work out a contract or we'll have a boilerplate. But and I personally believe the DM's Guild, upon the release of D&D Forever or 5e Forever or whatever they're calling it, DM's Guild over at Drive-Thru will either move in whole to a WotC server and a WotC marketplace, or it will get shut down and rebirthed because Roll20 and Drive-Thru are the same company. They're in direct competition, and I saw the advertisements. Right now you can get like some of your 5e stuff directly from Drive-Thru for Roll20. It was already on Roll20. You get nothing that wasn't already there. Just another way to buy it over the last 12 months that they're going to be selling it. Or maybe they'll always sell the original 5e out of print player's handbook.
So do they really believe that it's going to be all digital in 5 years? I mean, do they really believe that?
I think they're banking on it, Gary. It's a Hail Mary pass in a way. I mean, you catch the pass, you got a touchdown. If you miss it, there's fourth and long.
Yeah, I hate to tell you this. I think it's going to be fourth and long. I think they're going to be in. I think they've misjudged. I don't know.
My theory is they split their audience because you're going to have plenty of people that are perfectly happy with the way 5e is now. They like to play with books. They like to play in person. They're not going anywhere. They're just going to say, "I've still got the books. I got 8 years of material. I don't need to play online." And look, nothing wrong with playing online.
What's going to happen is I'll tell you they're going to divide their audience by age. There's going to be a line. And if you're 20 something or less, or maybe 30 something or less, whatever, there'll be a line of that's the digital crew and this is the non-digital crew.
Everybody baby boomers, Gen X, you're on one side, everybody else, you're oh yeah, no problem. I play online anyway. That's not going to be an issue. And right. I just, what's interesting is, so this has two unintended effects though, because number one, when you do everything online, what do your retailers sell at that point? If you're moving away from physical books, how do your retailers support the new 5e or the new whatever? They can't. I mean, why would they want to? They have no incentive to support you at all. And I mean, I don't see.
Is it going to end up like Walmart where you buy Diablo 4 on a card at the check? I mean,
I think I mean,
you're gonna buy your core books. You're all in the end. You're only going to be finding core books, I think, in print. I think that is the long-term plan, and they're okay with that because they're reference books. Okay, you can have that in print. Maybe you want to read that when you're not actually playing. You can have that. But everything else you need while you're playing, and that should all be on a computer because that means subscription. This is going to require an active subscription, and they don't mind if they lose half their market share up front, and they can grow the new market share. I don't know, 10% a year. They're just looking at that. That's 10% more in subscriptions. We are going to be rolling in money within the next 3 or 4 years.
Because then you're also going to have to pay for shot skis. Like, hey, I want this is special limited edition orc, symbol or mind flayer symbol. I want to. How much is it? $5? Yeah, that's cool for $5.
Yeah, I want to look.
I mean, I think they're perfectly willing. I think they're perfectly willing to cede the OSR sphere to people like Kelsey and Matt Finch and all these guys and just say, look, yeah, you go ahead and do that over here. We got this now. We're fine. They're going to try to make that succeed or fail based on its merits. And
like I guess if you're dealing with certain age groups, I mean, Lisa and I had a conversation about this, for people like me who spend 10 to 12 hours a day in front of a computer anyway for work, there are a lot of computer related, for example, computer gaming. I really enjoy computer gaming. I just don't do it anymore. Not one, because I don't have time, but two, I don't want to sit in front of the computer anymore. I'm already there so many hours a day working. I don't want. So, you know what I've started doing? And this is kind of funny because it's actually North Texas. Yeah, well, not that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't have to do that. At least helps you with that. So anyway,
too much info.
What I've done is Kelly Rowe got me the Aliens RPG game and the books. I've been reading very well. And we watch the show and I'll thumb through the book or whatever. Anyway, I've been looking at that because I might try to run one of those games this year.
Mark makes a good point. I don't play any computer games because I have to differentiate between computer, which for me is work, and I have a game console, an Xbox, which is play.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Because I can't play games on the computer just because I can't mix that time up. I can't be sitting here working going, let me go play Skyrim a little bit or whatever. BioShock. No, I can't do that. I can't let myself do that. So I have a separate room and a separate TV and everything that I play my Xbox. So I have to have a differentiation. But Mark makes a good point because I'm a huge Madden fan. And he's absolutely right. So Madden has a great engine for 8 years ago. And they haven't updated the engine in probably 5 to 8 years. And they come up with the same shit. It's got the same problems. It's got the same commentary. Everything's the same, except they just have new players every year, and they still sell a billion copies every year because they're Madden. Everybody wants to. Now, what they do make money on though is they make money on their online gaming. They have an online game where you have to buy certain teams, you buy players. They're just like what WotC wants to do. They've monetized the whole system of, hey, if you want a really good team, you're going to pay extra for a Pat Mahomes character, to use him as your quarterback. Or you're going to have to buy packs. You're going to have to buy 100 packs so you can pull the one card that's the Pat Mahomes card. Otherwise, you're going to get 500 Dak Prescotts or whatever, And so, poor Dak.
Wow.
But it's true, man. Come on.
I know.
And so I'm just saying is that that's what's going to happen. And I think WotC, if they look at that model, and like we've talked about before, their executives are all ex-Microsoft executives, and they look at that as like, look, we'll win. We're going to win. Because if we have, let's say every year, let's say they have packs. Okay, you have to buy packs for your figures. Well, let's say every 100 or 200 packs has a special undead dragon figure that whatever online figure you can only use if you buy that pack. I mean, it's gonna be like printing money for them too, because you're gonna have those fans out there like, well, I gotta have that. My group's running into an undead dragon. I gotta throw that pog out there so they can see it and see how cool it is online. yeah, they're going to definitely go with that model, and if they figure that, hey, if a bunch of idiots are still buying, like me, are still buying Madden after all these years, and Madden hasn't improved, it's not any better, and it sucks. They'll buy this. They'll buy these figures. They'll buy these special one use only products or whatever, or costumes, or whatever they decide to come up with.
Of course, Mike, you could have used any Jets quarterback in the last decade.
I just said poor Zach because Zach just had it right.
I know, but you.
Yeah. Well, who's the latest guy that got benched? Even though he's the first round pick, now they have another. Oh, now they have Aaron Rodgers.
This is like going back to the Favre days. It's like.
Good luck. I think Rodgers might have. I think Rodgers is going to have a big surprise playing for an organization not quite as professional as the Green Bay Packers after playing with the Packers all these years. Because
he'll lose his temper real quick.
God,
he's having a bad year last year and losing his temper on the field. Oh man, we're going to see the F-bomb.
I understand they put a crappy team around him, but people keep forgetting. As we segue into football talk, Packers are a small market team. They always have been. They've gotten very lucky with their last two quarterbacks, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. They were both franchise quarterbacks, but they are a small market team. Nobody wants to live in Green Bay, and it's tough to get people there. And so, yeah, they had a crappy team around him last year, and he thinks he's going to, I hit the big time going to the Jets. Has he not watched Jets football? Why don't you call him up, Eric, and tell him what Jets football has looked like the last 20 years? If he thinks that he's going to a professional organization that's going to spend a lot of money for a kick-ass team. Come on now.
Well, no, they'll spend a lot of money. The kick-ass team doesn't mean it's going to actually fall into place. All right, they're going to get a bunch of old guys that can't play anymore surround Aaron Rodgers because they were big names about 5 years ago. They're going to get CeeDee Lamb after he's 35 years old and leaves the Cowboys. I don't know. Here's the thing with the Jets. All right, here's the thing with the Jets. If they are going to make the playoffs and make a run for it, it's going to have to be this year, because next year, Rodgers is going to be. He's not Tom Brady. All right, I don't think he's going to age like Tom Brady.
Sure.
So this is going to have to be the year, because after that you're going to or you just tank it again and hope for a good.
Oh no, Rodgers not. You're not going to tank it with Rodgers there. The boy, no, you think he was pissed off where he was.
Yeah, no, Rodgers is going to give 110%.
Yeah.
But
they've got some good wide receivers there. Honestly, Zach Wilson's not a terrible backup quarterback now. If that's what he is, he's a pretty damn good backup quarterback. He had a terrible record, but once again, he's played for the Jets the last 2 years. They haven't really, they haven't given him a lot, but there's some good wide receivers on that team. So the running backs actually aren't bad either. He could. You're right. This could be a one and done year.
You need to buy that extra second so shit can actually happen. And I don't know if we have the line this year. I don't know if we have the line anywhere.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun Jets season, man. It's gonna be interesting to see him. Do the Jets play the Packers now? That would be awesome. I don't think they do though. But
I used to watch all my football at my local pub until they closed. But they're going to be it's going to be reopening as a Nepalese bar restaurant.
Oh, well, maybe they'll have some football games there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Rockies, Jets are worse in division. Oh, not with Aaron as quarterback. Come on, man.
Nah,
Patriots are still stinko, right? Are they? They got a little better last year, but I'm sorry, man. Yeah.
Bills, man. Bills. That's.
Bills are really good. Yeah,
they're still in the state, even if they're almost in Canada.
No, Bills are pretty. No, Bills are good. That it's going to be a tough division, man. The Dolphins are actually a little better too. I think the magical Belichick's the magic's gone now because look, the dude had Tom Brady for 20 years. Come on, man. He's just. I don't think he's going to be able to. We all saw what a genius he was with Tom Brady as quarterback. Let's see what a genius he is. Actually, we have seen what a genius he is without Tom Brady. He ain't that too big of a genius. So.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna talk football, I just want to put it out there that Ohio State is ranked number one in preseason.
Oh, is Bill Barr still listening?
And Bill, if you're still on, Michigan's ranked number 6. Just so we're.
Oh, ouch. Oh dear, dude.
Maybe we should.
Just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Before Bill makes his comeback, maybe we should.
Yeah, that's a rough one. I haven't seen Bill. Bill hasn't popped up, so maybe he shut us off after a certain.
So
Yeah,
I don't know how much credence I put in this because Texas is ranked number 5, so I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work.
Yeah, Texas is a trap, right, Gary? We know from living in Texas, it's a trap because you want to rate them high because you're like, oh, they're Texas, and then you realize you look back on the last 20 years.
It's never a good idea.
No, they're not good. No, there's never a great idea to put Texas anywhere to the top. Sorry.
Hey, but TCU's ranked 11, I think, or something like that.
My alma mater, baby. TCU is I mean, they had a stinko playoff game last year, but dude, they're I'm
sorry, 17. They're ranked 17.
Okay, that makes about sense. Yeah,
A&M's 19, so whatever.
There you go. Stink. Yeah, so that's gonna be fun to see what happens with it. And we tied in Aaron Rodgers and the Jets with gaming, so it's the same concept.
There you go.
Don't expect that to happen all that often. Don't get spoiled, folks. But hey, subscribe, like, comment. The whole. I never say that enough. Apparently, I guess I should be telling people to subscribe more often.
I think our subscriptions.
Everybody does that. I mean, isn't it a foregone conclusion if you're on YouTube? That's just a default thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, although I find I watch my YouTube mostly on big screen TV.
We've been stuck at 2.9 for a while. We need to push it over to the 3, man. So we have been stuck on 2.9.
I need a good birthday present. My birthday's at the end of the month. Can we get me 30 subscribers and by the 30th? How about that?
Let's do it. And do we need to make up some controversy for the last 2 weeks? I mean, maybe we'll say that Joe Block is his new. By the way, Joe Block's new Kickstarter account last week, it looks awesome. I went ahead and already backed it, even though I usually wait for him to be on the show. But it's Castle of the Mad Archmage.
Oh yeah,
and it's a
you only need
redoing
30 people.
Only need 30 people is right.
You only need 30 people.
Oh, I think we just lost one of them.
I'm just saying, if you're trying to get over 3,000, you only need 30 people based on what I just saw.
Yeah.
And I could talk to Alicia's got 30 friends that could subscribe just to get the number over. Just saying.
I love the fact that my niece subscribes to this channel and she gives me feedback.
That's awesome.
She's 12. She gave feedback on the Gamer's Health one when we talked about menopause. She's like, Uncle. Yeah.
Why is it doing this?
I think my mother went through menopause.
Hey, Mike, you only need 30 people, dude. We can, between Lisa and Mason, we can get them to get 30 people signed up.
We need 30. Just 30. You can go.
We'll have to. If you're going to be a game hall, ask them to all subscribe. Everybody, we're into a game hall. Please subscribe.
I have to give up business cards.
We better have. We better have 30 before that. Come on, we got to have 30 by the end of the month. Let's
by the end of the month, man. I know. We've been stagnating.
All right, let me see what I can do. I'll see if I can get 30 between now and next week.
Oh my God, here we go. Gary's going to do it. He's going to work it. You know what? We should say something on the North Texas page. Is why not?
Sure.
By the way, the North Texas page. I'm not going to talk more con, but we have had a gigantic influx of people coming to the page enough to where Gary and I have to check for spam all the time now. Good Lord, we have 20
like
to 30
a job
people.
now.
Oh my God!
It
gets shut it off in this little. It gets shut it off, and then you approve them or not. And there's like 30 a day, and of those 30, 28 are spam.
And what's funny is, we'll get these weird surges. It'll be 50 or 60.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Mike and I are both doing it as fast as we can. And it's like he gets on there. There was 33. I said, "Well, you should have seen the 38 I had on there a while ago."
It's terrible.
It's because your community, and like very few others, apparently, is pretty much politics free, and people are getting tired of the politics being shoved at them in groups that otherwise shouldn't have it. So I think that's why you're getting a lot of refugees.
Well, I just want to say one more time that how much I really appreciate our community. I really appreciate all the people that support the convention, that buy tickets, that submit games, that buy merchandise, and do all of the things they do to make a family reunion weekend game group get together adventure come together, and I really appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it was really amazing. Just everybody being there, it's just amazing. And like I said, the community's growing, which is so cool. I mean, we haven't reached anywhere near our max community. Like I said, we had so many people join the site after the con because they heard from other people. Other people came back and went to their Facebook page and said, "Man, this is the best convention ever." And they're like, "Dude, I got to join the page." And I saw so many people joining the page right after that. That's what they were saying to me, is like, "Hey, I heard about your con, man. I heard it was great." And so hopefully that translates into people coming to the con next year.
Well,
I think it will.
Well, thank you again, everybody. Thanks for having me on. I know.
Oh, no problem. Yeah.
I know the number portion of it can be boring, but I also wanted to talk about some of the things we are trying to do different this year. And get signed up early. Get your, I will announce the room link as soon as it's available.
And yes, if you're not a subscriber to Tenkar's Tavern, subscribe now. If you want more incredible content like Talking Crit and Gamers Health and Random Generated Party on Fridays.
Random Party Generator, which
Random Party Generator, okay.
But it's RPG. I forgot why I wrote it that way, and then like months later I went, oh yeah, RPG. Now it makes sense why I did that.
I want to apologize. I was going to tune into Friday's show because I always like to talk with Glenn, and I was busy, and so I feel bad. Then Glenn went on vacation or whatever, and so he's not going to be on for like 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm supposed to fill in with him next week, I believe. So
this Friday, yeah.
This Friday? You mean like 2 days? Yeah. Oh shit! Okay, well I guess I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right,
Well, I will always try to be in the comments on Talking Crit on the shows that I'm not on, because somebody's got to keep Mike's numbers correct.
When I just start making shit up,
he just wings it. He's close enough.
I wing it, man. It's
the ballpark.
It makes my head hurt when he starts talking. I'm like, no, don't say that.
That's okay. I did crime stats for a number of years, and I know how important accuracy is. But with Mike, I just say whatever.
Come on. I'm in the ballpark most of the time.
He's close. Yeah, he usually is close.
I'm usually in the ballpark.
Your numbers wouldn't get you through a CompStat meeting, but yes, Mike, they're close enough.
Oh, I say it with confidence. I think I could, as long as Gary's not there to pull bullshit on me. Yeah. I could get away with it, I think.
So that was one of the things you learned in the academy. If you don't have an answer, at least give an answer. Mm-hmm. Sound confident in it. And if you are wrong, hopefully nobody figures out at the moment.
Graduate school was the same way for those who went to graduate school. If you didn't know the answer when the professor called on you, you bullshitted your ass off for like 10 minutes explaining something. And you know what? Most of the time it would work too, because they just want to hear an answer. They just don't want you to hear like, I don't know, because a lot of times your answer is not wrong, especially when it comes to English. My wife said, how could you ever have a wrong answer? You could just bullshit. I go, exactly.
And that's why he picked that degree program.
It's exactly why. Because
if they ask you what, clear though, in my accounting and finance, there are correct answers that you cannot.
Oh yeah, you have absolute answers. I was a history major, and the reason why I chose history, I like to read, fine, but I wasn't necessarily very good at dates. But you don't have to be when everything is written. Everything is essays. As long as you knew your timeline, you didn't have to have the dates attached to it. So it was like, as long as you just knew A led to B, led to C, led to D, and I knew that from my reading. So. Yeah. And being able to coach it helped.
One of my graduate teachers during American literature, he said he always asked his class, his question was, when you do the Great Gatsby, he said, why is Gatsby so great? And that was one of, and basically there's no right or wrong answer. It's just how far you want to go in one direction or the next. He said he loved asked that question because his classes just came up with sometimes the most ridiculous, reasons, because he said there's no right or wrong answer. It's just, why, because hell, Fitzgerald didn't even know why the Great Gatsby was great. I mean, so basically you could just I mean, for someone like that was me. That was awesome. Oh, I'll tell you why it was great. I will bullshit your ass off why Grassy was so great. And that was one of our questions on our our final. Why was it great? And so he just loved it because there's no right or wrong answers, and that's how a lot of English lit is. There's no really right or wrong answers, and I enjoy that. I enjoy I enjoy not knowing any right or wrong. I couldn't do what Gary does because Gary and my wife's the same way with engineering. Requires this is the right answer. This is the wrong answer.
Well,
I'm like, let me slide in there.
I'll tell you a funny story. So when I was in college, I took as part of my finance degree, I had to take a bank management class, and we broke up into groups of 6, and you were going to manage a bank in a simulated environment that was computer based. Well, I understand how computers work, and I understand how simulations in a small sample size work. Mm-hmm. So what we did was, in the first week, we offered like 15% interest rates on savings bonds and, this, that, and the other. Well, on the first simulation week, we had like 90% of the revenue of people depositing money in our bank, which we then turned around and so we completely skewed the mathematics because it was such a small sample size. And by the end of the second week, the professor was so mad he reset the simulation and then put in all these rules. And what was funny was I said, and he was mad at me. I said, hey, I gave you a perfect segue into why banking regulation is important. And so anyway, so I like that kind of stuff I can predict. I can
Hi. I think that we have reached the natural end. So, Gary Hughes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Gary. That's great.
Glad to
awesome.
Be here.
Michael.
I guess I'll see you Friday. Jeez.
Yes.
Quick turnaround.
Hey, Rachel's gonna get jealous, man.
But the great thing about Friday, I like about Friday, is we're not doing Talking Crit. We're doing whatever we do on Friday. So it's
which is actually, Mike. Guess what? We do a little show prep throughout the week usually. This is how much show prep. Okay. So don't worry about it. Hey.
Not everyone's a winner, but enough are winners that we're okay. That we can just keep.
We'll make it. We'll pull something out of our collective.
Yes, Emperor's Choice guys, you have got to come next year. You should get a table too. You've got to get a vendor table and sell your stuff. Oh, you will do very good at North Texas selling Arduino stuff. I will guarantee you. Do great at North Texas.
Yeah, you will literally. No. You won't have to worry about bringing stock back.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, thank you again for having me, and thank you everybody for all your support of North Texas.
Yep. Oh, Gary, you beat the Kobayashi Maru. Nice.
I guess in banking terms.
Folks, as always, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. I'll be back again tomorrow with some random shite. Oh, and if you're on the Discord, we have a hangout at 9 p.m. Everybody's welcome.
Ooh.
You just get to hang, chill, and talk geek stuff. It's not all RPGs, but it's a lot of fun. All right, folks. Subscribe. There we go.
Later, everybody.
Latest.